Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Around the Ropes YouTube exclusive. Now, guys, this coming Sunday, AEW Revolution takes place in Greensboro, North Carolina. Apparently on the podcast, I said South Carolina. Apparently I confused the two of them. And the big hoopla with the home thing is that it's Sting's last match. And obviously, a lot of us know Sting was a huge part of WCW. And there's been a lot of discussion the last couple of weekdays about who is the WCW Mount Rushmore. Because essentially, you can almost make the argument that Sunday is really putting the end to WCW with Sting retirement match. So I figured, why not have an Around the Ropes version of WCW Mount Rushmore? And who else better to call in than the Mount Rushmore expert himself, the one, the only Mr. Feeney. What's going on?
How you doing? I'm ready for this. Got my notes. Got my journal. I got things. I got things going on. I'm ready to go.
But before we get into this WCW Mount Rushmore thing, which I'm really looking forward to. How do you feel? You've been a wrestling fan as well. That Sting his last match is on Sunday.
It's surreal. I wish I could actually say I'm gonna be able to watch it, but I don't have the ability to do that, so I'm gonna have to watch the replay later. But it's surreal. I mean, I can't believe he's actually still, honestly, growing up. I'm 40 years old. I mean, I had his action figures when I was 5 years old. I'm not that 5 years old, 7 years old. And it's kind of amazing he's still going. Looking at Hulk Hogan, obviously Warrior's no longer with us. But that was a little bit short notice. Macho Man not with us, but once again, short notice. And you realize that, like, this man kind of started like a little after some of them.
And that's what's incredible. I was at work this past week and was talking to some of the guys, and they're not diehard wrestling fans, but they're slowly becoming wrestling fans. I think because of me. That's just maybe my ego a little bit, but I'm just saying that. And we were talking about the old ice cream bars that WWE had back in the day, and somehow it led into a conversation about Sting. And I said to them, now, mind you, they haven't watched wrestling religiously. They saw a lot in the 90s. I'm like, yeah, Sting's still wrestling. And they looked at me like, he's doing what? I'm like, yeah, Sting is still wrestling. And the funny thing is, Sting, I mean, a lot of times you'll see guys when they get to that age kind of take their foot off the pedal a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
With Sting, he did not take the foot off the pedal. No,
he was diving A&W, doing things that probably shouldn't have done with the neck and everything else. But listen, who are you to stop a person? If that's what they want to do, if they feel they can control it, that's their choice. I mean, yeah. I'm not going to stop anyone. I can't judge. More power to them. I couldn't even do that stuff now.
I was going to say, I think a lot of the guys from the Asylum group wish they can jump off and do what Sting does.
Yeah. I would, and be fine and like actually be able to move around. Like I get on the floor with my kids, and it's like it's a process to get up. It's honestly, it's embarrassing, but it's a process.
But like I even laugh. Like I look at it, I'm only 30, and I'm like, and yes, I'm not at that age yet, but I can feel the aches starting to.
Check engine light on 40, John. Check engine light comes on at 40.
I guess for me it's my my early check engine light then.
Yes, you got that one. That's okay. That's like your ABS light came on.
Yes.
But you know, you need to check the brakes. It's all right. It's only a warning. Transmission's still doing good.
But even I look at that, I'm like, and I'm far from being an athlete. Mm-hmm. I tried my days of being an athlete, and that didn't really land me anything well. But you look at somebody like Sting. I mean, this is a guy who's 63, I think.
Yeah, 62, 63.
And he's doing moves that I'm looking at him going, I'm only 30 and I wish I could do half those stuff.
I mean, I get the tag teams. You want to kind of let him have a match where he can go a little longer. You have the breaks with the tag team, but the opponents are, it's the whole, I mean, I get it. Darby Allin and him have been working together. I thought that last match should have been those two. I think that would have been Sting puts him over.
You're not wrong on it. I also thought the other possibility would have been him and Rick.
I saw Rick last time. Now, back to my statement about not telling anybody what to do with their lives. Rick, you're gonna die. You go in the ring, you're not doing it. Nah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm sorry. It's there's at least a 70%. If you live, you get 30%. You can win 30% chance, right?
you would think so, but I just think I know from what I read. Supposedly, this goes back that the plans were put into place. They had a 6-man tag match. I forgot what pay-per-view, where it was Sting, Darby, and somebody else against the Young Bucks, and I sort of what led to this.
Yeah,
I said this. I said this on the podcast. To me, I think Darby takes the pin on Sunday. The Bucks take the titles, and Sting can go right off into the sunset.
I mean that's the cleanest way to do it. Although Sting being the kind of the giver, he's probably going to want to take that pin. That's his last mat time, his shoulders on the mat kind of deal. If he's going to put somebody over, that might be more symbolic. So I can see that, but like I said, I just don't see where the Young Bucks, outside of being the company owners in a sense, or best friends, or whatever they are, CEOs, they kind of put themselves in there.
Oh, that's why to me when they announced it, and I agree with you, I think it should have been Darby because they could have given Darby that moment, let Sting go off. But then it's like okay. I mean, the story they've been telling has been compelling to say the least. But my big thing is going to be now, especially with Darby, he has had Sting for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to be on his own without Sting?
There's your prez. There's your question right there, because right there, you had an opportunity to put Darby well over that line. He ends Sting's career. You can have Sting do. You could have done so many things. You didn't even need to announce the match. You could have just built it up as a story, and then maybe made it a stipulation right at the end. Maybe even had Sting or Darby. I don't know how you would do it, but you do babyface versus heel or heel versus heel.
Actually, you could have turned Darby heel.
Yeah.
And if I was the booker, you could have almost done a better version of the whole Baron Corbin Kurt Angle story.
Oh, that was probably one of the worst retirement matches ever.
Where what you could have done is you could have had Darby cut a promo and say, "Look, I've been in your shadow." Because let's call a spade here. Darby has been in Sting's shadow since the two of them have been paired together.
How many years has it been? You said like 3 or 4?
3 or 4 years. Yeah. So you could have had Darby turn around and say, "You know what? I'm sick and tired of being in your shadows. I was called one of the pillars of this company, but I've been your lackey." You can play it off like that. Mm-hmm. And at AEW Revolution, which is in your backyard, you started your career there. I will end your career because the stipulation is if I beat you, you have to retire.
Yep. Now it would have been a good way to do it because you give him a memorable match. Now you have a tag match, which is fine, but in the end, it's probably going to be the Young Bucks to get put over, and Darby's now left to rebuild a different personality or a different momentum. That better word.
But then you also have to realize the other thing. Also, he's going, I think, to climb Mount Everest. I think in a month or so, 2 months. So we probably won't see him on TV for some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually brings up another thing. Could we possibly see a thing where Sting can go off into the sunset, the Young Bucks do an injury angle to Darby, where they say, where also you see like the next day on Facebook or social media, you say, "Oh, according to our doctors, Darby suffered a concussion or something, and he's be out of action for a couple of months." Then you can write him off of TV. But now the other question I bring up now is, where do the Young Bucks go from here?
Well, they'll be fine. They'll come off hot, and whoever they're versing. Honestly, last couple of weeks AEW has just been very difficult to at times. get through. And I have kids, so it's hard for me to get everything.
Oh,
I can't dedicate 5 days a week, so I haven't caught up on it recently. But they're gonna be fine. They always this is their moment. This is their promotion. This is what they're gonna push. It's the elite. They're gonna go all forward with it, and they'll be fine. It's Darby. That's no matter what you do, no matter
yeah.
what, unless they win, which they're not because the titles. Darby's the one that's going to come out looking the worst. And I get it. Everybody's going to say, oh, no, it's all. But the injury makes the most sense because then you can let him come back and do something either heelish or make a save, make an impact. But that's a couple months off his career now for a fake injury.
But the thing is also, if you do that and you make him do the save, who would he really? But you see how now all of a sudden this opens up a whole new thing here because, like, okay, you do the injury angle, you let him right off of TV for a couple months. Figure you don't see him back. I'm saying probably all in August. Give him a couple months off. I wouldn't have him. I wouldn't do a thing where it's okay. We're gonna ride him off of TV. Let him not be at any shows the month of April, and then reappear again at Double or Nothing. That to me makes no sense.
Yeah.
You let it be even like Forbidden Door, even I think you can do.
Okay.
Where you do Forbidden Door all in. But my question then is, who would he make the save for then? Would he make, because then personally to me,
someone might roster now, you know.
But to me, I would have him go for the world title at this point.
Now you have another option here, and I'm a big attitude. As I told you, I'm more attitude fan. Like I love modern day WWF, but
yeah,
I know my attitude stuff, and there's swerves that have been done. Even recently we've seen it with the women's title. What's to say that they don't win? Sting, the Young Bucks allow Sting to go out a victor, and at the end of the night on the next Dynamite or whatever, Sting says he's going to give the title though. Tony Khan comes all coked up and he's like, "Yay! We're gonna let him give the title to somebody else," and we're gonna be like, "Yay!" and that's it. But that could be a possibility. We've seen screwier things.
Well, I think also we'll get into WCW stuff in a second here. I think the other thing also, because I was talking about this on the podcast, if we go the route that I think everybody's expecting that we're going to see on Sunday, the Bucks win, they take the titles.
Mm-hmm.
There was a tag match happening on Sunday that I said on the show, either one of these teams could position themselves for a tag title shot.
Okay.
And that's FTR and the Blackpool Combat Club. Blackpool Combat Club, and I said this, and I had somebody actually mention it. Actually, somebody you and I both know, Billy mentioned it, that she didn't think Blackpool Combat Club needs tag belts. And I see where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But my whole thing is this: Blackpool Combat Club has not had belts for some time now.
Yeah.
And yes, I still think they're more of a Teflon team because of the fact between Moxley, Claudio, and Danielson. But even Teflon, eventually you're going to need a belt.
Yeah. And that could be the way they go.
And I could easily see them almost becoming the anti-authority to an extent.
Okay.
Where it's almost like you could have Moxley cut a promo saying, you guys have been running roughshod around this company for years. You don't let these other tag teams take a shot. Like I would see Moxley turn around and cut a promo, be like, oh, why did you guys deserve to take that belt? You guys haven't really been a tag team that long. Even though, yes, Young Bucks have been a tag team for a long time. Trust me, I'm not taking that away from them.
Yeah, no, I got you.
But you can easily say, like, look, why did you guys jump the line?
Yeah.
And then that can lead into something, because I did read, supposedly there will be a pay-per-view in April for AEW.
Oh, will there? Yeah, aren't they doing they want to do 9 or 10 or something a year?
Which that can be a whole discussion in itself. But supposedly the one in April, they're calling it, I kid you not, they're calling it AEW Dynasty.
Yes. That's the one they trademarked. That's right. I forgot about that. I heard about that.
So I saw that one. I was like, great. More pay-per-views now?
Yep. I know. Give me a network. I got kids. Those yogurts don't pay for themselves.
But let's transition. We could sit here and talk forever about the whole
I'm
booking
ready.
angle, but I mentioned at the top of this recording with Sting that essentially it's the end of WCW because yes, you have other guys who were in WCW who are still on the independent scene to this day.
Yeah.
But none of them are at the level of Sting.
No, he's main eventing still.
I mean, granted, yes, you have Jericho, who was in WCW.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, Goldberg, who did it like a couple years ago.
But Sting, to me, is that's going back to the early days.
Sting's more 80s. I mean, Jericho's like early 90s, maybe very late 80s, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he started in 90.
So, I mean, Sting's on a different generation. As much as you want to say it, they are technically different generation of wrestler.
But I figured, and this is the biggest conversation that goes on, not only in the pro wrestling world, but in the sports world as well. And that's Mount Rushmore's. So, Eric, I'm going to throw it to you first. You have The Rock in front of you. You're etching out your Mount Rushmore. Who's on your Mount Rushmore for WCW?
So you want to know my overall?
Yep.
I got plenty of these. Trust me, I have notes. I have made many mountains right now. So I am going to go with my all-time. I didn't want to start with that one, but I will.
Yep.
You got to go Sting. There's no question. Ric Flair, you go him. Hulk, who's going to be on two Rushmores. I'm sorry. What he did from 94 or whatever he got there till 2000. I mean, he's a part of that whole revolution for WCW. Even though it's not the beginning, he is a good part of that history. And then Goldberg.
Interesting.
WCW, not NWA. I'm going WCW. And I'm not going Eric Bischoff. He's like we said, he's a figurehead. I'm sticking with the wrestler, the actual regular full-time performers. Not Goldberg.
My only issue with Goldberg, and this is going to get me some heat. I know it's going to happen.
I'm going to die in this hill.
I get why, and believe me, I totally get that. But with me, I always feel like Goldberg is somebody who they basically brought in, had his 3-second match, jackhammer, boom, done, finish. To me, he was overrated.
Listen, I say this to hardcore fans all the time. You love your 5-star matches. We get it. They're great. They're fantastic. They're fun. Yay, flip flop, flip flop. But here's the problem. What Goldberg did sold tickets. It was phenomenal phase for years, like 2 or 3 years. I mean, Goldberg was synonymous. I mean, not to the Austin level, but he was WCW's Austin in that sense of like your babyface, even though Austin was more anti-hero. He was there. I mean, I'm sorry. Goldberg was a huge chunk of that revolution that came later in the 90s after the NWO started kind of fizzling a little bit.
And NWO, which basically that basically describes 99.9% of WCW back in the day.
Yeah.
But I think my thing is with Goldberg, I looked at him more as a special attraction.
Yeah, but here's a question. I was thinking about this. We all of us usually agree when we put our Mount Rushmores up there of WWF or whatever, we always have Andre the Giant. Now I know he was a good, but he was a novelty act in himself, and mostly he was still just throwing people around. He'd take a couple of slams. He wasn't able to move around, but we all consider him for what he did for the sport. Remember, before Hogan went national, he was taking it nationally. He was one of the first stars that went to different areas and was selling out those areas because of him. And I think that's what Goldberg brought, was that power. And I know people listen, this is a very hot button for people for Goldberg, but listen, it's not about in-ring skills. It's about promo and what he was able to do.
Well, and that I won't take away from him. In-ring skills, I think he was in, stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
But I just feel like WCW didn't allow him to do his full thing. He was very limited, I think is the best way I can put it.
Well, we got to see it a little bit in the Regal match. Regal pulled it out of him a little bit. Remember, Regal, that's a famous one. Regal drew that out of him. And it wasn't bad, but while that match was fun and enjoyable, that wasn't Goldberg. That was not what that. It's like Hulk Hogan in the WWF. Everybody always talks about what he did in Japan, which I agree. The guy can wrestle. For whatever everyone wants to say, the guy can wrestle. But in WWF, he didn't have to really. He just hulked out after getting beat up and beating the guy for a little bit, and then put the leg drop of doom down on him, and that's it. The big boot.
But I get that. I think and I agree with what you're saying. And I think the thing also with Goldberg that people have to realize, Goldberg was that first mainstream crossover guy almost.
Okay.
Because at that point, yes, you had a few crossover guys. Obviously you have your Hogans as well. Mm-hmm. But he was the crossover from the world of the NFL.
To an extent. He wasn't really that. I mean, I'm a big football fan.
Yeah.
Diehard football fan. He was a step above Brock Lesnar in his Minnesota Vikings career. I mean, Goldberg I think he played like a year or two. He was like a practice squad, maybe a bench player. He was like the guy you draft in wherever he was drafted, you get him as maybe possible potential, but then you realize he peaked at college. So when WCW wrestling was perfect for him because he has that look. So he always knew that. And I don't know how he got into wrestling, but as far as NFL, no, he was kind of, like I said, a step above Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of had a career after that because I know he's done a few movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, yeah, they weren't, we're not talking about Cena or, that other guy,
They were rough. Although Santa's Sleigh was fun.
Well, if we're talking favorite Goldberg movies, for me, it has to be Longest Yard.
Oh, sorry. Yes. But I'm going to put Santa's Sleigh right up there because I like cheesy horror, so.
Oh, no, that was, but with me, with Longest Yard, that when he was in that movie, I was like, oh, this is too good for him.
It was a first role for him.
But
perfect role. What's yours?
My Mount Rushmore is
taking notes.
I would say Hogan, Sting. I'm gonna go Dusty here.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna ask. I have questions on that one, but okay.
The last one's actually going to be an interesting one. The last one for me is actually a tag team.
Ooh,
the Outsiders.
Category for that. I made a second category for that. Who's your tag team?
The Outsiders.
Oh, I wouldn't even.
I say that for one reason. Yes, you could say Harlem Heat as a tag team.
Steiners.
You can say the Steiners. But look at what. But I look this way. Look at what the Outsiders did. Look at what they started. If it wasn't for Hall jumping the barricade at that Nitro show, and look at what that started. Started, I think personally, one of the greatest factions of all time in the NWO.
But my issue with that, and I have to say, one, Kevin Nash will never get a pass for Oz in my eyes. And number two, if it wasn't for Hogan, one can easily argue that NWO doesn't move much forward. I mean, the impact that him turning heel took an angle that could have been an invasion angle that WCW could have fumbled, but because it was Hogan, your hero is now your He-Man, now is Skeletor.
But here's the thing, though. When we talk NWO, to me, it stops after Nash, Hall, and Hogan.
I got that, but I just think we're giving credit to three, and it was really the impact is Hogan still.
Well, and I'm surprised you're not mentioning about with the fact that I added what's his face.
Oh, we're getting to Ric Flair soon. Don't worry.
Okay,
we're gonna talk about that one. Don't worry, I didn't forget.
No, for me it's the Outsiders, because yes, I agree with you that if it wasn't for Hogan's turn at Bash at the Beach in '97, then we don't get what we ended up getting with the NWO.
The infamous man.
But the thing is also, we never would have had that opportunity if it wasn't for what the Outsiders did by making the jump to WCW.
Oh, and I don't disagree with that. That they were the catalyst. But once again, I just stopped it there because I know WCW was known for fumbling it. And the fact that they got it right with Hogan being that third man took them back. Because don't get me wrong, Hall and Nash were great superstars, and they are in my all-time. I have them in one of my Mount Rushmores. But the Lee Flair out is almost criminal for WCW. It's just almost criminal because, I mean, you don't think WCW without thinking Sting and Flair.
I agree on 100%.
So I that one I'm blown my mind where the Outsiders got it. And then Dusty, I can say that was a one I wasn't expecting. The only issue I have was, did Dusty really perform in the ring much with WCW outside of a couple?
No, actually, I'm thinking about it now. He was more, yeah.
He's more Bischoff-y. He pushed his kid.
Well, the thing is also, for some reason, I put Dusty in there. I'm like, wait a second. He was more NWA.
He was, and that's what I'm saying. You said WCW, so I was like, really was WCW, even because remember, I think when he came back from WWF, he semi-retired. And he took over.
You know what? Okay. I'm taking Dusty off, but the guy I'm replacing him, right? And it's not because it's because I'm just thinking about it now.
I'm gonna fix it.
I put Lex Luger on that list.
It's not a glitch. I
Well, I say Lex for one reason. Who had that big moment when Nitro first started?
What did Ric Flair do to you? Well, wait, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Oh shit! Yeah, I just realized.
What did Ric Flair do to you? Where did he touch you? Tell me. Like, why? What is this man? I know the plane was horrible. He showed his pee-pee and people were offended, but listen, I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say that one, but I'll leave that joke alone.
But I think, but Eric, this is my whole thing though. This is what makes these lists so difficult, because then somebody could turn around and go, how come I didn't put Booker T on that list?
So I will say this to Lex Luger. His biggest moment was when after he came back from Nitro, he was the one that after Nitro, he was the one that dethroned Hogan for 5 days. He got, when Ric Flair left in 1991, and it was him versus, was it Barry Windham?
Yes.
In that cage match, that was probably the most underwhelming. I mean, the fans were screaming Flair. And it's Lex Luger in that ring, mind you. The fans were screaming, we want Flair. As he was in WWF. Or almost, because who was it? Jim Herd. Just talked about that. Was it Jim Herd? Yeah, Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
So Lex Luger, okay, listen, like you said, everybody's got I can't say that's a wrong one. Like I said, we said Shockmaster, then some opinions can be wrong. We're learning. But Lex Luger, I know there's merit to it, so continue. I will listen.
I just realized that all of a sudden I'm going through the list in my head here for a second, because I will be the first one to admit I should have done it the other way. I should have written it down. And I did the notes in my head while I was at work. Yeah.
I got notes.
I did. Okay, but then here's the same argument, though.
Okay.
This is.
I love this.
Because I can see what you're saying about Rick, and I totally agree. I'm in my head. I'm like, okay.
I'm so blown right now. So, just I need to hear it.
My only thing is this. Yeah, I think I have to backpedal on mine.
I just can't figure it out, because there's literally the biggest moment for Lex Luger was overshadowed because the fans hijacked the show because Jim Herd wanted to turn Ric Flair into a gladiator.
Yeah.
Was it like Maximus? I forget what it was. They were Spartacus.
Yeah, I'm realizing it now,
Uh,
going through the list
I've
in my
no,
head for a
like,
second.
what's that?
And
Sorry, I'm hard
okay,
of hearing. I couldn't hear you.
no, you're good. Um, I'm actually going to revise my list because I'm realizing now in my head
Uh, so we got Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair.
Hogan, Sting, Ric Flair. Fuck, now this is a tough one.
I wish I could. I really need to get a keyboard and record some like wrestling theme music because I have one right now. It's really, it's just more like impactful. A lot of sparkles. The man comes out and he's like jacked. He's got a tattoo in his arm. He goes, ah, and he's got
Are we
bald head.
talking, are we
He's
talking
a
about
steroid.
Archie?
Begins with a G, ends in a G. You know.
No, you know what? I got one I'm going to go for.
There's got to be someone else. There's a lot of talent there.
And this one you're actually going to be kind of surprised with, but I'll explain why I say this guy in a second. This one, I think about it now, I think may have some merit to it.
Who's that?
Cruiserweight. Nobody talks about the cruiserweight division, and WCW, I feel like, has one of the best cruiserweight divisions, or had one of the best.
Leave that one open to a Mount Rushmore for that. So
Eddie Guerrero.
Okay, I can actually I can see it. It's better than Luger.
Yeah, I'm going to say Eddie because I'd say Eddie for one
his
reason.
impact on that division was it's yeah.
Because I know everybody thinks Eddie. They're like, oh, Eddie, ECW, him and Malenko had that.
Just unbelievable.
Or like, yeah, but even like Eddie, when he was in WWE, WWF, and the matches he had. But I look at what he did in WCW and that.
That's what I'm talking about. The WCW Ray versus Eddie. I mean, that's an all-time classic.
With him and Billy Kidman, him and Rey Mysterio.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that match right there, Rey Mysterio. That's bar none one of the classics. They did better on that one. They tried to redo it in WWE, and it was great. It was a good match, but you could not repeat that one.
No, and I'm surprised though because a lot of the Mount Rushmores I have heard for WCW, nobody has mentioned anybody from the cruiserweight division.
I think the problem is it's the draw. There's that factor in there. You have to be a draw. You have to be popular. You have to be a lot of things. And I hate to say it, but the one thing that sometimes takes a back seat to popularity is that in-ring work. Bret Hart syndrome. Bret Hart was everybody wanted it, but when he did become champ, it wasn't a draw.
I mean, thank God I didn't turn around because I just thought about it in my head. Thank God I didn't turn around and say Vince Russo.
Oh God, he's literally what killed WCW. Yes. I mean, there were other things that stabbed it, but when he got there, I mean, once Vince wasn't watching him unchecked was dangerous.
Yes.
So I did other Mount Rushmores.
Yeah, go right ahead.
This might help us because we're having problems because we have so many choices and so many stars, and maybe some of these guys I mentioned, you may think we should put them up there instead. Because Goldberg seems like he's going to be the one. I think, honestly, Sting, Hogan, and Ric Flair are automatic 3.
Yes.
The fourth one is the question. So I did one for the good guys, the Babyfaces. We got Sting, of course. I put Goldberg. I mean,
that I agree with.
DDP.
Yes.
And Booker T.
Well, I agree with Booker because they were talking about it today on Busted Open, or I think yesterday's Busted Open. Booker T held the WCW flag even going into his time in WWE.
Yeah, that's why I put him in there. I had to. Symbolically, he was a tag team historical Harlem Heat as heel and babyface, right? They mixed it up a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, everybody always makes the argument that Tommy Dreamer is the heart and soul of ECW. For a while, I mean, you can also make the argument that Booker T sort of is the heart and soul of WCW.
Yep. Yeah, there's an argument for him. Well, I don't think he's as strong as the other ones. He's another one for the all-time Rushmore of WCW, of course.
Yeah, and it's funny with that one. I agree with everyone you just said because they all make perfect. Because realistically, when you look at the good guys, it's like you really couldn't really go anybody else than the 4 guys you mentioned.
No. I mean, Flair was known most as a heel. And I think I watched Bischoff did like a podcast about this a while ago. And a lot of these are the same. I mean, these are some of the ones that even Bischoff was picking. But Flair's the tough one because he's right. He's everywhere. I mean, he was a good guy, but he's known for heel. He did his best work as a heel.
But but you bring that up, and that's an interesting thing. I feel like a lot of wrestlers that we see now, it doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, it doesn't matter. A lot of them will do better work as a heel than they do as a babyface. Great example. Here's another great example. MJF.
Yeah.
Much better heel than a babyface.
Look at
who?
Roman Reigns.
Oh, exactly.
Once they let himself, it was beautiful.
And here's the thing. I've spoken to a lot of these wrestlers, with doing the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always asked them, I said, especially when you're talking to like the older guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, was it better to be a heel or a babyface?
Always better to be a heel, baby.
Well, because you get to be your natural self.
Yeah, you can be a dick. And people you can get good heat where it's like not go away heat, like, oh, this guy's an asshole. I like him, but I hate him.
But that to me, like, I laugh right now, and I was talking about this with somebody recently, actually. You look at somebody like MJF, for example, and we'll get back into WCW here in a second.
You're fine. Yeah, no, good.
I look at MJF I don't look at him as a heel, per se. I look at him as a cool heel.
An anti-hero.
Where, you know who I look at as a heel? And you're going to laugh that I'm not even thinking this name. Bully Ray.
Yeah, the persona kind of comes off brash. But he's got people that like him. And once again, that's an anti-hero. That's what an anti-hero is. Doesn't mean that they're liked. There's people don't like Sure. There's people that don't like Venom. Although those are weird, but there's people.
But the thing is, I blame the fact on the cool heels on the NWO. Because the NWO made it cool to be the bad guy.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. 96. WWF did steal that. They stole that vibe. They started running with that. They saw what worked. And they started with DX and then Austin being just let him go. Let him be who he was. That 316 promo, King of the Ring, 96 was just a lightning in a bottle. It went crazy.
And that's also why Limby, between you and I, we know a lot of wrestling fans. I mean, we talk to some of them every day.
I don't tell my boss.
And even a lot of them, believe me, the guys and gals, I have to throw that in, that you and I both know, most of them are going to sit there and say, give us a heel over a babyface.
Yeah. Now, I am a sucker for a babyface overcoming. I'm always a sucker for the babyface overcoming adversity. But I love a good heel. As a kid, I think we all can agree. We love babyfaces no matter what. If you liked the heel as a kid, more power to you, but you might have some therapy sessions right now. You have insurance, I hope.
Or, because I think the thing is, and a lot of people have always said, like, even personally, people have always said, like, for me, for example, they see me as a straight babyface.
Okay.
They couldn't see me as a heel because it's not in me to be that's a whole conversation for another day. But even like if we go with some of the guys
you would be the John Cena.
Of course, yeah. But like I look at it this way, and this could lead back into the WCW stuff. You look at the baby faces that you mentioned before, with Sting, Goldberg, Booker T, and then who was the fourth one you mentioned?
Sting, Booker T, DDP, and Goldberg.
DDP.
Yep, DDP is he can't be forgotten.
Yeah, and I agree because you saw them go through. DDP started. I think he was already 40. I think when he first started.
Well, he was the driver for Honky Tonk Man in Rhythm and Blues. WrestleMania 6, I think, or
I think WrestleMania 6.
Yeah, so he's been in wrestling for a while. He's been mostly a valet, but he's been in wrestling for a while.
But I totally agree, and I feel like with a lot of them, there's really nobody else who I think you could put in there.
Yep. Give me 1 second, buddy.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Gotta fix something real quick.
But guys, I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation we're having. Definitely hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. Of course, you do nothing. It does wonders for us. There's going to be a lot more of this type of content coming out. And it's going to be, obviously, we'll definitely have Eric back again for the other ones. But we're also going to have trickle in some other voices, so to speak.
So to keep it moving, I don't know how long you plan on do this for.
I mean, we're ready at 40
I'm
minutes.
fine.
So
listen, we only hit 3. We have only hit 2 of my list. I got a lot. The next
let's
one,
keep it going.
Hollywood Hogan. That's a no-brainer. Ric Flair, once again, back to no-brainers.
Mm-hmm.
Vader.
Okay.
I know. I have him tossed with someone. And my last 2 are questionable, and I will say that because it could be other people. Kevin Nash. I know anti-hero, but he was a heel.
Yeah, but I think somebody like him, somebody like Nash.
Okay.
You think of more of a baby. You think of him more as a babyface.
Like an Austin.
Yeah.
Okay. So who would we put in this? The Vader one I like.
Yeah, Vader one I like.
Cactus Jack.
Oof. Hold on. A heel from WCW.
I'm just naming names. I'm helping. I'm not trying to talk over your thoughts.
Oh no. I'm trying to think here because
you got Rick Rude.
I think Rick has to be on the list, especially when he would come out.
When he was healthy before he broke his neck or his spine, right? Neck.
I think it was neck, from what I remember.
They had that like the ring that was up or something like that. Doing again, he was placing what, Sting? Was that the Sting? Holy shit! Yeah. All right, yep, we got to pick Rick Rude in that one now.
No, because Rick to me is somebody who I know there's always comment of you love to hate him. No, you hated Rick Rude.
Oh, it was unbelievable. He was great at it. And in WCW, it was even. I honestly will say I think some of his better work might have been in WCW versus the WWF because then they gave him that position of being more domineering. Like Intercontinental Championship was great, but they put him in the title more as a champion. They put him as champion.
But he also was somebody who was over enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just with his character. His character, like there's that conversation always in pro wrestling where some wrestlers don't need a belt per se because they're over enough.
Yeah.
You could sort of make the argument for Rick, not so much with WCW, but I think more with WWE or WWF at the time. That I didn't think he needed. I know he never won the world title, but he never really needed that title. He was over a lot. He was incredibly over.
Made Ultimate Warrior look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Twice.
But I mean the fact that he got booze before even the match started just by doing his opening thing.
Yes. I mean WWF he did have the what's his wife's? What was Jake Roberts' wife's first name? I can't think of it off the top of my head right now. I'm getting old. But I remember we put her face on his pants. Whipped them off there to get like another pair of pants on it.
Yeah. But that's what got him because because what Rick did, and you don't really see this a lot now, Rick got heat. But he did it the old Kiss method. He kept it simple.
Yeah. Like what do you call it? Gorgeous George.
Same thing.
Yep. That's the inspiration. So we'll keep it moving. Yep. We got our heels. I think we've resolved it, right? We're good with that. Rick Rude. Yeah. Are we good with Vader?
Yeah, I would keep Vader in there.
All right, and we're good with yeah. All right, so we're gonna go to tag teams.
Oh, okay.
I got you. Don't worry, you're gonna like these. I got the Outsiders. You say, hey, look, you got it. Harlem Heat.
Yes.
Gotta go with them. The Steiner Brothers.
Yeah, that I agree on.
Here's my one. Do you think we can put the Road Warriors on there as a WCW all time? That more NWA. I didn't really.
Well,
That's
I look at Road Warriors actually. Yes, NWA, yes,
W.
but I also look at more at WWF.
Yeah. All right. We'll take them off. So who do we do for?
Was it the Brainbusters?
Well, Four Horsemen. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
You can go with those two. Yeah. I would actually. I'm saying that like we can. No, we should.
Yeah.
I
Trying to think here.
I did this on the Women 3 Hours, so anybody's out there criticizing me, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's my Friday night. Leave me the fuck alone. I am enjoying it. So we're going with managers next, since we think we're tag teams are pretty good. This is my hardest one. I got Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerous. That's got to be in there from Dangerous Alliance. I mean, James J. Dillon.
Oh yeah, that I completely agree with.
Colonel Rob Parker.
Yes.
His fight with Medusa, which I don't know why WCW decided to put him over in that one, but good job, WCW. Booking is strong. And then I couldn't think of a fourth one, and I have scribbles all over. I had Jimmy Hart in there. I was going to say Jim Cornette, but I don't feel like he's WCW at all. He's NWA South. Sherry Martel. Ric Flair.
Yeah.
She elevated. She helped a lot of that. I mean, it was really early on, but I don't know. Do we put her in there? I mean, we could put Elizabeth.
I would, especially, wasn't she the manager?
She was Harlan Dees.
Yeah, Booker T's.
I think she was there for the, the comment.
Yeah, infamous line there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
I know.
My complexion says no. So we'll go with that. Sherry Martel.
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect.
Butcher us in the comments. Kill me. You tell me somebody I forgot, please just be like, he's wrong. I'm happy.
And guys, you can leave. I was gonna say this much. Leave your Mount Rushmore for WCW heels, babyfaces in the comment section below.
I will enjoy reading them, and I'm gonna say right now, you're probably wrong.
Well, you're only wrong if you say Tugboat.
No. Shockmaster. Tugboat.
Shockmaster, yeah.
Tugboat main evented in SummerSlam. He's good. Factions. NWO.
That's the top of the top.
Dangerous Alliance. I mean,
yeah, that's a
better one.
Second.
I got them on there. Four Horsemen, of course.
Mm-hmm.
My fourth one is a little bit of a wild card. It's not about. I don't think it's about the accomplishments in the title area as much as it's the impact on culture. The Flock.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna.
There was like a 2-year span or a year or so span where I mean, they had a style. I mean, people mimic them.
Oh no, you're right. I'm just looking to see about if there's any other factions because I'm Jordan Blake right now.
Jersey, what was it? DDP, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Canyon.
Oh, you're talking about
Jersey. I can't think of the next
triple threat.
No, hold on. I'm getting I have my son's tablet. He's 7.
Oh, you can put LWO.
Huh?
LWO, Latin World Order.
Ooh, I forgot about that. I didn't know if maybe I was counting that because NWO, but that's not the same. All right, I'll do that. Take the Flock out. LWO, that was dumb on my part. We're gonna.
I'm just looking right now at tag teams.
All right. So LWO, NWO, Dangerous Alliance, and Four Horsemen.
Oof. I love all. I think all 4 of them. But there's one tag team we could have put in for tag team for Mount Rushmore.
Who?
The American Males. I'm just busting chops on that one.
We could put Disco Inferno in as the all-time greats.
Oh yeah, let's not say we did.
All right, so we gotta go. We're gonna move on. I picked out NWO Mount Rushmore because if we're gonna do WCW, there was a point where us fans, as kids, actually thought NWO was gonna become WCW. Hollywood Hogan.
Yep.
Kevin Nash.
Okay.
Scott Hall when he's sober, and Macho Man. I didn't know about the fourth one. That was when I said it's a wild card. There's a couple of places I'm not putting 6 in there. No. I don't believe him in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not putting him in my Mount Rushmore. And I will be okay with that.
All right, because I'm just looking right now. I literally actually pulled up the list of every NWO member.
That's got to be a very long book.
Yeah, that's a safe way to put it. Because like they're even going as far as saying
Let's see. I'm going to try and name as many as I can.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start with some obscure ones. Let's see. Let's go. Well, we'll start with the real ones. Hulk, Scott Hall, Nash, Rick Rude, Ted DiBiase, Vincent.
Hold on. Rick Rude. Yep.
Vincent.
Yes. Vincent. Yep.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty. Yep.
Kurt Hennig.
Yep.
Disco Inferno. I can't.
Unfortunately, yes.
Horace.
Yes.
Horace Hogan. Oh my God, brother. I know his name wasn't Brutus. Oh my God, I'm going back to him. It's Beefcake. I can't think of what he is in that one. Ah, man, I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, Stevie Ray.
Yep, Stevie Ray. Yep.
Scott Norton. Ken Norton.
Yep.
That was. Oh my God. I have 1,000 people in my head right now. Buck Bagwell.
Yep.
Did I say Macho Man? Macho Man.
Yep.
Elizabeth.
Yep. There's actually, I'll put it this way. There's a few that I'm looking at that I totally forgot they were in the NWO.
Hold on, I got some more. Hold on. I'm not done yet. Because they had a faction of scrubs too.
Yeah.
All right, no, I'm actually done. I'm sorry. I think I've the brain cells are a little too fried right now. Let's keep going.
All right. Just some of the other names on here. Shawn Michaels.
Oh, come on. I don't want to count the WWF.
Okay.
Let's not do that. Yes, you're right.
Tori Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Tori. She was a good manager, too. She could have been on that list.
Apparently, I have no idea who this is. April Hunter.
Pass.
Pamela Paulshock.
Pass. Are these like the Godfathers, like hoes, but for the NWO? Like Nitro Girl?
Literally, I went to Wikipedia, and I'll be the first.
Maybe, remember they had the NWO takeover on Nitro? Maybe those are the Nitro girls for them.
No, this is incarnations and members, and these are on the list.
But I'm saying that they may have made them like official members for the night. Like, didn't they initiate somebody in one night and then beat the hell out of them and take the title away from them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some of the other names here. Trying to see here.
You got to remember also New Japan. Or Japan. I was All Japan, New Japan, one of the two. Had Scott Norton was leading them.
Apparently, there's also another guy, Michael Wall Street.
IRS.
Yep.
Bray Wyatt's father. Poor guy. Got Hall of Fame, by the way. You were talking about that before the show. That'll be the man that goes in the Hall of Fame this year, I think.
Oh, I totally agree on that.
Virgil. They're going to put Virgil. They better put Virgil in.
The Great Muta.
Yeah, that's back again. That's going to Japan. We're getting deep now.
I'm literally going through the list here right now. Then there's another guy, Louis Coley.
I don't remember that, but Dennis Rodman.
Yes, Dennis Rodman. Actually,
Bret Hart.
Yep, Bret Hart.
Scott Steiner.
I think the maintenance guy from Greensboro, North Carolina was in there too.
Probably. I think we're done. I think we've gone. Put your list out there. Y'all have fun. We're gonna move on to we realized what I did, the NWO. So hold on, are we good with Macho Man as being the fourth man on that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna move on to Luchadors. I like this one. So my Luchadors, which WCW was very known for this.
Yes.
That was a big catalyst for that cruiserweight division. I have Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Juventud Guerrero, and I might get chewed on this one because I think people have someone else in front of them, or maybe two people. Chavo Guerrero.
No, I think because the thing is also you think luchador, it doesn't matter. The first names you think of are Guerreros and the Mysterios.
Yeah. And Guerrero.
Yeah. No, I agree with all the ones you just said.
So I want to go back to something. You and I were talking before the show. We didn't do a cruiserweight one, and I never did one. So who would be the cruiserweight? We're good with the
Billy
lucha.
Kidman.
Oh, that one.
Billy Kidman.
You're going Kidman, okay.
Yeah, because I look at it as the guys who made the biggest impact in that division.
Kidman.
I hate to say it.
Who?
Would you put Jericho in there?
I would put Jericho, but I want to put someone else in before anybody. Dean Malenko.
Yes, you have to put Dean in.
I'm sorry. He has to get in that list. If he's not in that list, then we ran out of space because I'll kick out Kidman. No, I'm good with Jericho. Jericho, the Lion Tamer, the whole. He was, the reason why he left WWE because he felt he was stuck in the cruiserweights.
I think the other one, and I hate to say this because we just mentioned before, but I think you got to mention. I said it in mine, Eddie.
Oh, of course, Eddie. It's a good list. We don't count Benoit, right? Or anything like that.
No.
I think we can keep Benoit off any list. We're good with that. If you want to put Benoit, please do. But listen, I'm sorry. I'm a father of two. I just won't.
Yeah. And I, I have
I'm
respect.
controversial. Just like I said, I just stay out of that one.
Yeah, I don't touch that one at all.
So we're gonna move on because I feel like I don't want to keep us too long for us. Because I got a good last one that you're gonna like. The next, the one that's coming for though is the worst gimmicks. The one we did right before the show.
Yeah.
And I just saw something. There was a top 10 video that just came out about it. So a couple of the ones that did come out, we discussed. And I think I brought them down to 4. 1, Oz.
Oh God, yes.
The monkey died off the stage. The monkey killed itself. Okay, that's what happened. It knew what it was doing. It was like, I'm not being a part of this. Kevin Sullivan was like the Grand Wizard or the Wizard of Oz. It was awful. They had like 3 matches, and thank God, Kevin Nash figured it out. Shockmaster.
Oh God, yes.
The helmet. The helmet's beautiful, but the helmet.
Yes.
Jim Herd's very own, the Ding Dongs.
Yes.
The son of a bitch got one. Spartacus wasn't going to win. And then, John, you can go with the last one. You were the one who mentioned it when we were talking.
Oh, the Yeti.
Yeah, the Yeti. Of course. They said he was bear hugging, but that was a hump. A lot of humping.
That's a nice way to put it.
So we had some fun, but this is the one I think you're going to like the best. And I made this one just for you because you're a little bit more knowledgeable with the matches. You may know things more beyond WCW than I did. I'm more a historian, where I think you took it on. I took off a little bit. I went to college in West Virginia. I got drunk for about 4 to 5 years. I had to settle down. Then I met my wife, and I didn't get back into wrestling until about maybe 7 years ago. So, 10 years ago. So, Sting matches, Mount Rushmore.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try.
I think this is the one we'll wrap up with.
I stuck with WCW on this because that's our thing.
You almost have to for the one reason he didn't have that many in WWE.
No, he had none. TNA though, he had AJ.
Yeah, TNA, he had AJ.
He also had drunk Jeff Hardy or drugged up Jeff Hardy. Drunk, I don't know.
Drugged up.
Oh. Crunk.
Simple enough. A screwed up Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, Hardy ready for party. Party Hardy and Marty. Okay, so I have one that I will always go with. And this is a personal favorite of mine: Sting and Lex Luger versus the Steiner Brothers. Talk about beating the living piss out of each other just because you want to put a show on. I felt those hits. I've watched that match recently, and I gotta say, I feel them still to this day.
No, I agree with that. Unfortunately for me, I wasn't around for a lot of Sting's WCW run.
So I'll take the little lead on this one if you're fine with that.
Well, I don't have a Mount Rushmore, so to speak, but I have one Sting match that I will always go back to.
Yo, I want you to give it to me. What you got?
Sting, Ric Flair, Clash of Champions '88.
That is right there, my man. That's an automatic.
Yeah, those two. And
One, it sets the whole Sting motion. Without that match, you don't have Sting.
I caught that through actually not even Peacock. I caught that still on the WWE Network.
That one I remember I'm 83, so I was 5. So I didn't see that one live. I saw that on WWE.
But that was also the same thing. That's how I got to see Dusty and Rick.
Oh, of course.
Network.
YouTube.
But that's a whole nother. But to me, if I had to give my one Sting match, give me Sting and Ric Flair.
That's on my list. That is 100% cemented. That is definitely not my Teddy Roosevelt on my Mount Rushmore. Let's put it that way. All right. So we're gonna go with Sting. I'm like I said, I don't care. I will that's another hill I'll die on. That tag match with Sting and Luger was at Super Bowl 91. Something unbelievable. If you have not seen it, anybody go watch it. Want to see men just saying, fuck it, we're gonna wing it and we're gonna do a great 5-star match. That's it. Screwy ending though, a little screwy. They WCW'd a little bit, but it was a great match otherwise. The next one is going to be, I have a couple. I have my number one. And everybody's probably still, it's everybody's number one, but we're going to go with Sting versus DDP at Nitro in 1999. We also have Sting versus Cactus Jack at Beach Blast 92, which was a very, I've never seen that one. That one's ruthless. That is, Cactus Jack brings out another level to him. There's another one that's a little obscure, but I think it's one of people's favorites of them, especially with the rivalry. Sting versus Vader at 92 Starrcade. That one was the one that was his, I think that's his Hulk Hogan, like, Andre. That was the big powerhouse. That was the one that said that's the guy. I mean, I know Cactus Jack matched it too, but that was Vader. The other one I'm going to go with, and this is the one I'll end with right here, it is going to be Sting Squadron versus Dangerous Alliance, Wrestle War 1992.
Definitely not a bad one.
No, we had, let's see here. I couldn't even remember. I know Steamboat was in it. I know Koloff. I know it was Beautiful Bobby Eaton was the one who got the submission hold put on him by the man of the hour, Sting. All because Zbyszko had a piece of metal or something like that hit him in the face or something. But talk about utilizing the cage, using a match. I mean, the story was told. It's if you don't have that in your top 3, you don't know what you're talking about. But that War Games match, bar none, one of my favorite matches of all time. And I wish I had watched it recently to really give you that feel. But if you want another one, please go watch that.
And none of them. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch a lot of them. But the one, like I said before, give me Sting, Ric Flair.
So, John, that's your homework. If you want something tonight to do, Sting, the rest of the War Games match, and that Sting Luger Steiner Brothers tag team.
I'm definitely gonna go back and watch them.
You'll message me, but thank you, Eric. It's really good matches. It's good WCW at its finest. So once again, we back WCW. We talk about all the bad stuff that Vince Russo did, but they did so many good things when they wanted to. It was just you had screwy bookers.
But that's it. Then I'll wrap it up on this. I know I'm towards the younger age demographic of the wrestling fans, being that I'm 30.
Yeah.
But I will sit there, and I'll be the first one to admit it. I will sit there and watch stuff from Mid-South Wrestling, from any of those older stuff.
Yeah.
From the class, like I still tried to find, because I only tried to watch this because we actually had Larry Zbyszko on this show.
Mm-hmm.
Was Zbyszko Bruno when Zbyszko turned on Bruno at Shea Stadium?
Okay.
We actually had Zbyszko on this show.
Did you? Okay.
And I remember he told us how when he turned, there were people who were threatening to kill him.
Well, yeah, back then kayfabe was that was another level of reality. People really, I mean, Duggan Sheik kind of blew everybody's mind when that happened because that kind of killed a little bit of the mystique.
Yeah, no, that I agree on, but
yeah,
I think it's safe to say
people believe that.
I think Sunday night, and I did read actually prior to us going recording tonight that the main event of Revolution is going to be that tag title match.
Listen, Tony loves his, but he's not that dumb. I mean, if he decided that he wasn't going to put that as the main event, that could be one of the worst booking decisions that you may have ever witnessed. I'm going to throw the wild card out there. I'm going to say they're going to do the screwy Attitude Era bullshit where they're going to have Sting is going to win. He's going to go out in the sunset. We're going to have our happy moment. Darby Allin is going to be the sole tag team champion, and someone, I don't know who somebody will come in, and we will have Darby Allin still ride the wave of momentum from being a champion with Sting. Because I just feel like any other way, you destroy Darby Allin a little bit.
Oh no, I completely agree. But guys, I hope you like this. Again, guys, leave your Mount Rushmore list below. Let us know who your Mount Rushmore is for the babyfaces, for the heels, basically for any component that we just went over.
Everybody.
But guys, we will definitely have more of these Mount Rushmore lists coming out soon. And we'll have more of the, not only just Mount Rushmores, but top 5 lists coming out.
I'm excited. I'm sorry.
But guys, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. It costs you nothing. It does wonders for us. If you follow us on Facebook, hit the follow button on any of our social media accounts. But for Eric, I'm John. This has been a YouTube exclusive for the Around the Ropes podcast. Catch you guys next time.
Take care.